喂，你今日飲咗未啊？
飲 orange juice，
青紅蘿蔔豬骨湯
，Coffee or tea or me？
飲橙汁？不如試下飲 Coffee Bubble Tea 啦！
歡迎大家嚟呢個 Coffee Bubble Tea 嚇，我係 Samson 啦，今日又有 Tiffany、Joyce 同埋 Colin 喺度，大家 say 個 hi 啦。
Hello，Hi。
今日主題係呢個 Parallel Universe。大家近排有冇睇個新嗰個 Spider-Man 啊？
未有機會。
冇
No。
哦，哇，好難得喎！
好難得未有。
我身邊好多人都有睇。嗱，anyways， 即係 it's nothing new， 好多電影都係I regret something， so I go back in time to change it。記唔記得有 La La Land 啊
？Yes。
係咪20？
我都未睇，
我都未睇。
OK，
我知佢講乜。
It's a musical， right？
我睇過，不過唔記得講乜。
OK。Tiff， 你有留意台灣嘅？你有睇那些年咯？
有。
就好似
哎呀，暴露咗年齡添。
哦，你小學嘅時候睇？係啊，
小學嘅時候睇。
哇！
那些年咧，其實係2011年嘅，咁即係總之就個 story 就 play out one story，and then at the end 個主角就好 regret 諗啊，如果我嗰陣時冇 break up 咁點咧？跟住就即係最後幾分鐘咧就 play 呢個 what if scenario 啦，咁樣咁所以即係同 La La Land 好似 ，and actually there was another one called Butterfly Effect。Even longer, 2004, but it's a really cool thriller.
出世添。
Oh.
唔係啊嘛。
You know, the characters, they regret something in their youth and then or in their childhood and they go back to change it. Okay, 咁樣咧，我想問嘅問題咧就係 What are some things that I wish I had learned when I was younger?如果我後生嘅時候學咗呢樣嘢就好啦，咁大家有冇諗過咧呢樣嘢？我間唔中都會諗啊，如果嗰陣時點就好啦咁。
應該係話，如果我有呢個機會嘅話咧，我會好想即係細個啲嘅時候學下點樣呢個投資。我覺得呢個係一個好大嘅學問嚟嘅，即係唔係淨係投資，係你點樣去儲錢啊，或者係你點樣去 manage 你啲錢點樣用啊？我覺得呢一個係啲人你可以話係唔需要學，但係我覺得一定係有啲聽。點解會有啲人係百萬富翁，我唔係？即係或者係有啲人可以有好多money flow 去做唔同嘅嘢，或有啲人冇咁，我覺得呢個係一定係有啲學問喺入邊咯。
或者係亦都係啲習慣啦，可能
係啊，即係你邊一啲習慣會影響到你成個 money flow， 而可能你嗰啲習慣其實好小事嘅啫。但係如果你學咗，你 realize 到呢樣嘢，話俾你聽呢樣嘢，咁可能即係少則你就可能多啲錢用啦，有啲多啲備用現金啊咁樣。大則可能真係影響到你成個 life planning 喎，我覺得係。
I think for me, art would be something I would want to have taken more of an opportunity in high school to learn more about. I did take art classes when I was younger, but I never really took it seriously. It was more of like a hobby and something that my parents would just enroll me in, like with all the other different classes that I took, such as like math, Chinese school, those sorts of classes. And art was just one of them. But art has always kind of stuck with me. And not just art, I think, but more so like animation, like Pixar, like Disney, like those sorts of things, along with like storytelling and that kind of thing. I think I would have liked to been able to use that opportunity in another life or another dimension, I guess.
So 即係冇學咗呢樣嘢，就令到有啲咩機會啊，或者有啲嘢令到你做唔到啊，咁樣咧而家。
咁我覺得冇嘅，唔係嘅。我啲兒生勾勾喺度，即係我有錢用。我就出到街，真係我有錢用，我食得飽飯。咪即係我覺得係即係未到咁嚴重嘅，因為 我覺得係一啲會令到我更加好咯。如果我學咗點樣投資，同埋突然間提起我另外一樣嘢係，我唔知大家明唔明白，但係我真係好唔明白 insurance 呢樣嘢嘅。其實，我覺得如果 high school 有一堂，我唔需要去成個 course。high school 有一堂話俾我聽，唔同類型嘅 insurance 你應該點樣去選擇俾自己啊 ，K K 啊，即係啲 kind of 都 related to 投資啦，因為有啲咁樣嘅成分，我就會覺得應該會，我前2年應該唔需要咁煩。我聽過好多次同一樣嘢，我都咁即係點啊？我唔明喎。咁即係佢保到我幾多歲啊？我之後點會點係咯，即係我覺得呢啲嘢就未到話我唔學會發生好大嘅問題，但係我覺得如果我有呢個機會，我真係會想喺細個少少嘅時候有多啲 explore 多啲呢啲咁樣嘅 topic 咯。
What was the question? Like it was about like
係啦，即係你頭先講到啊，如果有機會你讀多啲關於 art 啊，學即係 animation 啊等等嘅嘢，咁你有冇想象？即係其實如果你學咗，咁可能會點樣影響你而家咧？
佢會變咗做一個 artist。
Well, that's one thing, I guess.
He'd be working for Pixar.
That would be the goal for sure.
Turning red and turning blue.
I think, yeah, I mean, it would definitely be different in terms of where I am now and currently doing.
我自己嘅工作好多時都係 freelance 嘅，咁即係做 freelance 咧，有乜嘢工你有興趣就做噶啦，咁樣，咁所以咧，我有陣時又希望我學識做 sound system 啦，有陣時咧我就諗啊，如果我吉他咧練好啲咧，我可以教吉他啦。因為 when you're in a team of people working with different teams and in different situations, you need different kind of skills. 所以我成日咧都翻轉頭諗嗰陣時咧，如果跟邊個學咗乜嘢又好啦，咁樣。
我都曾經有你呢個諗法，但係可能諗我唔係完美，我冇可能每樣嘢都學到嘅喎。如果唔係我全部咁叻，就唔需要有大家啦。同埋好辛苦咯，我覺得會咁樣逼自己。即係但係我都曾經有呢個諗法嘅。
So I think that's actually pretty similar to my experience. Like when you ask me, what do I wish I learned? I got to learn a lot when I was in high school. Like, I got to learn singing. I got to learn Chinese watercolor, Chinese calligraphy. I joined all sorts of sports teams. I learned like over 6 instruments. What I really wish, though, is that I had chosen one thing or maybe 2 things and gotten good at them. Because I now feel like I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. So, yeah, like I think if I had dedicated more time in a particular direction, maybe it could have led to something.
When did you realize that, actually?
I think I was in the grade 12 band listening to people play flute. And I thought, if I had spent more time playing one instrument instead of playing the baritone and then the trumpet and then finally getting to the flute, like I could have committed more time to becoming proficient at one thing.
Okay. But before, how did it feel while you were learning doing all these different kind of things?
It was a lot of fun.
Okay. 我都記得我其實我 high school 咧，我又 take drama， 又 take music， 跟住之前有 choir 啊，後嚟又做 technical theatre 嘅嘢咧，都好好玩嘅。It's different groups of friends as well。好啦，咁樣咧，我想問下大家啦，其實而家想唔想學翻呢啲嘢咧 ？Is it too late to start now？
我想講句好老土嘅，但我唔記得咗嗰句老土嘢。咩？我活到老學到老。
哦，OK，
係真係好老土。Oh my gosh！ 因為其實頭先阿 Conan 講起 art 咧，我都突然間令我諗起呢嘢。其實咧，我係一個唔 art 嘅人嚟，好唔 art。我真係好憎 art。有啲時憎點解我憎咧？係因為我知道我唔識畫畫，我最叻畫咩咧？火柴人已經好叻㗎，我覺得自己其實2條頭髮嘅火柴人，有眼耳口鼻已經好叻㗎。咁但係咧，我就即係因為工作關係咧，我有機會去 explore 到一啲叫做 graphic design 啊， 即係要用嗰啲 software 好普嗰啲 software，InDesign 啊、AI 啊、Photoshop 嗰啲咧，即係以前覺得我聽到呢啲我即刻走，而家因為工作關係，即係我有機會要做呢啲，我甚至係即係有個 project 前一排做咗，就係我真係要 design 一個嗰個 template 出嚟啦，即係成個都即係雖然係一個好簡單較為簡單，但係其實即係我覺得自己 master 到一個咁樣嘅 program， 識得用 InDesign， 識得用 AI 去轉換，識得做嘢，我呢個自己好叻嘅。即係我覺得學到活到老，學到老，真係唔係老，我後生仲係，但係我覺得即係幾好啦。即係我係因為工作所以有呢個機會，咁我都相信即係。之後其實你講咩 sound system， 我以前都係唔識呢啲嘢，都因為唔同嘅即係情況下需要到去學呢啲嘢，咁我覺得你其實真係唔會知道你個又好老土講，你人生入邊你唔知點解突然間會有呢啲咁嘅機會，即係真係好睇你自己 grab 唔 grab 嗰個嗰個機會咯，我覺得好似嚟個題唔好意思。
No, I like what you're saying, especially the idea that as lifelong learners, I guess is the term.
Lifelong learners 幾好。
I totally agree with you. I wished I started investing sooner because we know the magic of compound interest relies significantly on time.
Wow.
And to be honest, I'd say just about 6 months ago, I did my first deep dive into understanding investments. And at that point, I was like if someone had given us a course in high school helping us understand, a little today is a lot in the future. Not tomorrow because it takes time, but in the future. So yeah, start early.
I think for me, I'm currently learning pretty much art. I think with the internet and everything that's available to us and YouTube and all of those things, certainly you can whatever you want to learn, you can definitely try and search on YouTube. I'm sure there's something on YouTube for you to find and learn. So I'm definitely using that asset to learn about art and the different mediums, painting, Photoshop, Illustrator, those sorts of things, and really just kind of getting into it. And I since it's more of a hobby for me right now, I'm doing it on the side. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself because I feel like before when I was trying to learn something, there was always a goal of trying to maybe put money into the equation and all of that sort of thing. And it kind of really stressed me out a lot. So my motivation behind it was really just to make money with it. And the passion wasn't really there for me to continue with it because I would get so frustrated and impatient with the whole process because I'd be trying to learn and I couldn't learn because it just took time, right? But I didn't understand that completely. And I don't think there's ever an age to wanting to learn something. I don't think learning ever stops. It's really the person who probably wants to stop if they lose interest or just don't want to continue with it. So I think age is really just a number. Unless you are trying to become a professional athlete and you want to go and compete with other people, then yes, there might be some physical limitations with your age. And even that might be of a stretch to say that age is going to stop you. I think my motto has always been to try and fail, but never really fail to try something. If you try it and you don't like it, then sure, you can disregard it, try something else that you might think you have an interest in, and then go from there. But you will really never know what you'll like or what you dislike unless you really put your foot forward. And for me, that's how I really kind of figured out what I liked and what I didn't like in high school, to really just try different things and figure out if this was right for me at the time.
What you're talking about reminds me of a career workshop that I went to back in university. And the man was saying, if you're good at something and you're passionate about it, that can be your job or your career. But if you're passionate about something and you're not good at it, that's what we call hobbies.
Yep.
Yep. 我記得咧，讀 U 嘅時候咧，都有啲同學咧係 they're retired. They just say, "Oh, I've always wanted to learn this." 咁樣，即係我即刻 imagine, "Whoa, this would be so fun." one day when I can still choose to go back and just sit in a classroom, listening to lectures and then deciding what paper am I going to write? And I don't care if I fail, you know. I don't need the degree. Yeah, it's pretty exciting to think of it.
所以而家咪真係多咗好多，即係睇新聞都會知有啲上咗年紀嘅，我哋叫佢做婆婆公公啊，都會走去上堂啊，攞個 degree 翻嚟。即係佢哋需唔需要個 degree 咧？喺佢哋呢個年紀唔需要噶。即係我諗係即係興趣或者可能就係好似你講嘅啊，如果我有機會去學，咁佢哋就係喺佢哋嗰個年紀 take 嗰個機會去再去學翻佢哋以前冇學過嘅嘢咯。
I really admire people like that. Yeah. Like especially people who like never knew how to swim and like in their 50s they're like, yep, I'm going to learn to swim. And then they like love swimming and do it every day. So
係啊，即係出嚟，即係頭先都講，即係我做 freelance 好多時咧，需要到乜嘢咧就學啦，咁即係個 motivation 咧都幾係真係要用咁樣咯，咁即係都幾攰嘅有陣時，即係damn I need to do a website, how do I use WordPress？ 跟住就即係佢係咁抄啊，係咁試嘅。There is satisfaction too, but it's 係啦，即係 it's very mixed.
There's more stress to that kind of learning because you know you have to create something that's going to be like useful, right? Not as opposed to something that you just want to create for the enjoyment of it. So that's the same with art though. It's like when you kind of put like your living to it, it might be a little bit harder because there's more stress and those sorts of things attached to it. Like there needs to be a return, I think. I guess like for a hobby, it's more like you're doing it because you want to do it. And back to your story about like, you know, as you retire and you want to learn something that you're really just wanting to learn for the fun of learning, then, you know, that there's so much joy to that, I think.
Yeah. Or maybe you're just in the wrong city, Samson. I once bumped into a friend who had become an artist, and he was living in Chicago at the time. And what he observed to me was that in Chicago, like the people, I guess we're a bit of jack of all trades, like you as a freelancer, as a creative type, if they needed to do something, they would figure it out. And they were like dabbling in a lot of different things, and they would be able to bring that into their creativity. And my friend observed that in Toronto, people tended to become very specialized. Like you would choose one or two things and get really good at it. So I think it's also about finding that community of people that you can learn from and create with.
Yeah. So, 問下你哋啦，而家你哋有冇學緊啲任何嘅嘢啊？ Are you guys learning anything now?
Pandemic 走音嘅話，pandemic 一開頭咧，我去報咗呢個 online course 上呢個學插花。
Okay,
interesting.
我其實好有興趣嘅對呢方面，但係我哋上咗2個月，我放棄咗。
點解放棄啊？
唔知咧，即係我覺得我自己咧，即係雖然我未真正好接觸呢一個 area 嘅嘢，但係我 picture 有少少我 picture 唔到自己，如果我真係去 drill in 去呢一個specific 呢個 area 嘅嘢，我會點樣咯？即係我覺得我有冇呢個時間擺落去咧？因為我係嗰啲，如果我想做，我想會係真係可以唔係考牌或者係即係點樣，佢可以有個好靚嘅插花師啊、花藝師啊呢個名去跟住自己。但係如果我諗學少少咁樣，我就去咁樣話自己，我都對唔住自己。咁所以我就覺得，哇！原來跟住再睇啲睇 deep 啲，就係唔係真係插花咁簡單咯？你係要真係去認識唔同嘅花，佢點樣去生長，佢應該要剪，即係佢可能一支花咁樣，玫瑰花你要剪幾長，你點樣剪？呢啲花屬於要擺啲咩點樣嘅花樽？哇！跟住我係咯，我諗我上咗2個月之後，我心諗唔得，太多嘢記唔得。我應該諗唔到，我應該會係就咁插落去嗰種人嚟。我覺得你就得㗎，我覺得你就得啦。
咁你即係成個 process 其實雖然 so far 都係 online 嘅，
係。
咁你要自己去買 material 咋？
冇，因為佢頭嗰兩個即係上嗰兩個月，佢頭嗰啲個 lesson 真係去教你去認識啲花唔同種類嘅花花草草啊。
OK，
咁樣咁，所以我睇咗2個月都係學緊呢啲嘢，我就覺得有少少即係 out of expectation， 我要學到咁 deep 咯，去學呢啲咁嘅花花草草嘅嘢時候，所以我就覺得即係有陣時好似你咁講興趣，有人咁講啊，興趣唔可以當飯食，所以我就冇當佢飯食，我就已經放棄咗呢餐飯。但係即係如果有人可以俾我即係去跟佢去實踐咁樣去學咧，我覺得係我會有興趣咯。
係啊，我喺香港嘅時候，朋友去啲 centre 嗰度學咧，佢話個老師好好嘅，包埋晒，即係佢已經 prepare 晒啲 material， 咁亦都會同你即係即場真係攞住啲 material， 你都可以攞住啲 material 講啦，咁就即係好一齊去做啲嘢咁樣，幾開心咯！佢哋真係。我諗
對我嚟講，可能真係 online 同埋 in person 上堂都有影響。即係好似你頭先咁樣 share， 你 in person 可以睇到啲嘢嘅時候，你摸到啲花啊，聞到啊，你睇到個花樽啊，咁其實我覺得咩好大 difference 咯。對我喺度 online 喺度睇 rose 入邊有分幾廿種，用啲咩嚟咩吓？唔教我。英文字我未識讀嗰粒字，
係啊，好可能 OK，maybe we'll talk about online learning another episode. Okay. Oh, Colin, so are you learning anything recently?
You know, when Tiff talks about like learning something new, like something that you may not be aware of, and then when you really go into like a deep dive about it, there's so many layers to it, like an onion. Like as you peel the onion, it gets deeper and deeper. Like each layer you peel probably adds to the tears that are coming out of your eyes. It just so shows that like there's something as easy or something that appears to be so easy probably has a lot of depth to it. It's just that someone who's not as interested in it probably wouldn't know that because until they actually do it themselves, right? So I find that interesting. And when I was learning how to paint, like for me, I'm not a painter, so I don't know how to paint. I think I went back into art when I basically learned how to like use the computer to do like digital art. And that was kind of where I started, where traditionally you would probably be like doing it like the reverse, where you would be taking a pencil and going into that system as opposed to starting from a computer. Painting was like so many layers to it. Like you got to figure out like how much water you need in the paint that you're using your paintbrush with, the colors that you choose, whether or not they match or complement each other. Like then you got to get into color theory, you know, like all these different things. So, I mean, art in itself is so vast and so huge. I never knew it was like that. So talking about that really kind of just brought up my own experiences with trying to learn how to paint. And even now I'm still trying to figure it out, but you know, I think that's kind of what I would like to learn more about.
Okay, yeah. So these several years, or you're going more into painting.
I'm trying to discover different mediums to doing it. Yeah. Like my mom has a lot of like weird objects at home that just sits
weird
in the
objects.
Well, okay, maybe not weird is the word to describe it, but interesting objects that are probably useful to households, like vases and like just like wood blocks or something like that. So they're just sitting out there collecting dust. And I'm like, why don't I just, you know, try and well, no, but like maybe like, you know, dust them off, paint them, and, you know, do something with them instead of just having them sit out there.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Joyce.
I can't think of any formal learning that I'm doing.
It's learning.
It's life learning. Learning how to live with a toddler. Yeah, like I think like just unfortunately your spare time, your free time becomes very limited with children in adulthood. So no formal learning, but like just again going online to learn new recipes, figuring out how to teach a toddler to read or to swim. I guess it fills life in itself. So in time, I think I really would like to return to certain things that I loved when I was younger, like Chinese watercolor. But yeah, until that time is available, it's life learning.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, well, I wish all of us, lifelong learning 做到老學到老啊。咁樣咧，即係 we started with a what if scenario, right？ 咁以前咧啲長輩成日講話，唔好講早知啦，即係有早知冇乞兒啦咁樣。
What？
咁有冇聽過呢個
？What？ 我個投資好啱啊！有早知冇乞兒。係
啦，即係有陣時話早知學咗乜嘢啦咁樣 ，and then 啲長輩就話，唔好講早知。咁but I think we talk about this topic to find inspiration, as 大家互相鼓勵嚇。咁樣係啦，即係值得嘅，即係大家一齊去傾。咁樣咧，即係亦都係啦，即係當我聽到你哋有啲嘢學緊 formally or informally or even 有啲嘢係咁樣學法係好辛苦，或者另外一種學法好啲嘅話，其實都係即係互相交流下經驗嘅。咁我哋今日傾到呢度啦，遲啲再傾下學嘢，好多即係 online learning 又好，或者係點樣，即係 YouTube learning 都係 there are good videos and there are very bad videos and so on。咁樣點搞好咧？咁遲啲再傾多啲啦。咁 Thanks again for joining us today. Visit us on Instagram。可以問我哋問題啦，或者你可以 leave feedback what you think of the topic， or 你有啲咩想我哋傾咧？咁咧we value your input and tune in to our next podcast for more good times. Goodbye.
Bye bye.